So the ancient talk radio host Rush Limbaugh decided to viciously go after Fox News because he thinks they're not being properly sycophantic to Trump. Check it out.
They're trying to create the illusion that Trump is a mob boss and he was ordering somebody to make up dirt or else we're not going to give you the money. Or worse, none of what they are saying happened in that phone call. And we've even got never-Trumpers now all over Fox News. Well, this phone call very hard to defend. I wouldn't want to have to defend this phone call. If I were the Republicans, I wouldn't want. There's nothing hard to defend about the phone call. You just don't want to defend it. You know, Fox really ought to change the name of the network from the Fox News Channel to the Fox Never Trumper Network. Because that's who's getting the highlights. That and they're bringing in Democrats like Donna Brazile. What do you mean the phone call's hard to defend? The phone call's not hard to defend, and Trump isn't hard to defend. But if Trump is hard to defend, what about conservatism, you never-Trumpers? Can you defend that? Do you not understand that conservatism's under assault? You may not be because you're renouncing conservatism to side up with these guys that you don't want to be criticized by. So you'd rather be friends with these nincompoops on the left than have to defend your own side and defend your own beliefs.
Look at the entitlement, because look at the expectation of how Fox News should act. His belief is that Fox News should 100% be the defense network of Donald Trump. So then you're admitting that you're not in favor of like any kind of objective reporting. You want a partisan, biased network that only does the bidding of the White House. So you like state propaganda. That's what you like. I mean, it's an implicit admission, but it's an admission nonetheless. And that's actually incredibly interesting because I don't know if you guys remember, but back during the 2016 primary, he was slow to get on board with Trump. He was slow to do it. And now he's just full... he's gone hardcore on the Trump train. Now, look at his argument. He says, that's not hard to defend that phone call. And what about conservatism? Can you defend that? Dude, you're not defending conservatism. There's nothing in this scandal that makes what Trump is doing inherently conservative. It's not. There's nothing ideologically conservative about what he's doing. And there's nothing ideologically conservative about what you're doing. You're just doing partisan politics. What's the principled conservative stand on this issue? There is none. What are you talking about? Imagine for a second Obama or Hillary Clinton had done exactly what Trump did here. Imagine it was Obama or Hillary Clinton who made a phone call and was prodding foreign leaders to get dirt on their political opponents. Rush Limbaugh, 100% without a doubt, would have lost it on his show. He would have called it treasonous. He would have acted like this is the biggest political scandal in American history and that Obama or Hillary would have had to have been removed immediately. That's what he would have done. But since it's Trump, he's just playing defense, and he's acting like there's nothing to see here. This is such hackery, I simply don't understand how people can take this guy seriously. Now, don't get me wrong. You guys know I've talked about it on the show. I think it's an interesting question what you do about what Trump did. And I also think it's interesting, particularly because there is dirt on Joe Biden and his family. And I hate it when people pretend like there's not, because that's also hacky in the other direction. But it's so clear that if the shoe was on the other foot here, he would 100% be attacking the Democrats till the cows come home and acting like this is a giant political scandal. And just so he knows, all you have on Fox News, Shep Smith and Judge Napolitano are the two who are like repeatedly going after Trump for this and they don't agree with Trump on this. But outside of that, there's plenty of defending Trump. This idea that like, oh my God, the network is a never-Trumper network. Actually, no, I think most of the hosts are still defending him to the hilt. So that's not true. What do you want? He wants 100% uniformity on Fox News defending the president all the time. So he's arguing for like a North Korean style media apparatus that their whole point is just to defend the dear leader, and they're not going to be objective. I mean, if you could look at what went on here with this phone call in Ukraine and Trump and Biden, and you can't find any fault in what Trump did, you're just a hack. Because obviously he did a lot of things that are at the very least unethical. At the very least unethical. But he can't bring himself to say it because he's a hack. He offers nothing to the political discourse. Rush Limbaugh is the kind of guy who's preaching to, like, you know, a bunch of 75-year-olds at the retirement community, and they follow him. But anybody who's ever thought about these things for a second or seen previous statements of his know how contradictory he is, know how hypocritical he is, know how there's no philosophy underlying what he says, and that's what makes it extra hilarious when he tries to pretend like, well, what about conservatism? Can you defend that? All these people gave up on conservatism a long time ago, okay? Long time ago. It was never about that. It's about defending the Republican Party at all costs. That's what it's about. So, for example, when it was George W. Bush and the Republican Party supporting the bailouts of Wall Street, they supported it. They supported it. Now, the conservative position is, no, it's the free market. If you fail, you fail. You go belly up. They didn't care about the conservative position. They didn't care at all. They defended the bailouts because that was the official position of the Republican Party. So they're a Republican propaganda network, not a conservative network. And you're not a conservative host. You're just a Republican host. That's the lowest form of political commentator that there is, by the way. It's one thing, if you want to represent an ideology and be consistent in that, okay, I respect that, even if I disagree with your ideology. You want to rep a libertarian position? By all means. You want to rep a conservative position? By all means. But the lowest form of political commentator is the one who simply represents the partisan position, the Republican or the Democratic position, and defends it no matter what. That's Rush Limbaugh, and in many ways, that's Fox News. Now we have 2 examples, maybe 3 at most, of people dissenting from that, and he's losing it. So, by the way, another thing that this does is fly in the face of the idea of, like, the right is for free expression, free exchange of ideas. No, because now when 2 or 3 people deviate from the line that they're pushing for, he loses it on them. And acts like the network is totally biased against Trump. It's pathetic. In his mind, he thinks non-biased is always defending Trump, when actually that also in itself is an inherently biased position. But anyway, I don't know why anybody takes this guy seriously. Probably nobody does. Congrats, Rush, on getting the most coverage that you'll get from now until your days on this earth expire. You're welcome for the extra publicity that I just gave you, except the result will probably hurt you a lot more than it helps you.